matter. So, very welcome. Hi.
Hi.
You're live on the stream now.
Hello.
And what's your name?
Michael Douglas.
All right.
From Genie Mobile.
Genie Mobile. And what's Genie Mobile doing?
Well, we provide mobile and web engagement platforms for events, but also for associations to engage their membership year-round. And in fact, we actually like to join those things together so that associations have one solution for both their events.
You are going too fast for me. There is a mobile event app that I understand.
There is a mobile events app, and indeed there was a mobile event app provided for this event.
Right.
So the good news is 184 people, I think, have used it. And so that's a great opportunity really for the people here to understand a bit more about it.
Sure.
So they've been able to certainly consult and understand what's going on at the event, plan their sessions, plan their time. They've been networking with each other, so we can see there's been quite a lot of activity on that. So that's really, really, really good. It's been a good opportunity for people to see it.
How many people do have a smartphone on an event like this?
Well, really, I mean, the figures for smartphone ownership are growing all the time, and generally speaking, are usually considered at the moment to be something in the region of about 50% of people. However, you start looking at the sort of business audiences that most of our customers work with, and actually that's much higher.
Okay.
So really, really looking at being able to cover, up to sort of 70%. And even people who don't have a smartphone or a particular type of smartphone but do have internet on their phone can still be engaged using some
the mobile app.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
But if you say half of the population, that means that everybody with a smartphone has used the app here, because 184, I think it's 350, 360 people participating here.
Well, I'd say so. I mean, I would imagine there's some people who have a smartphone who haven't used it, but obviously you're right. It means that the majority of people who could try it have done. And one of the other things that's interesting is we can see how often they used it, and the average time is 10 times.
Okay.
So 10 times over a couple of days on average really shows, I think, that people were getting something out of it.
Sure.
For them to want to go back and use it again and again.
And can you see which pages people have been visiting?
You can. I did look earlier, and actually what we've seen is certainly the networking has been important. A lot of people have been using that to look up to see who else is here. And
because there is an attendee list in the event app.
There's an attendee list in there, so people are able to do that, and we know that many messages have been sent between people.
Wow.
So that's good. So people are arranging to see each other, seeking out contacts that are going to improve the value that they get from the event. But the other thing, which is very standard, is the schedule, because of course there's lots of choice here, lots of choice of different sessions to go to. People are able to pick in advance, and it means they can see at a glance what their next thing is. So that's one of the things that people come back to reference again and again.
Sure.
They find useful.
Yeah. And what kind of events can you advise the planners to use an event app for?
Well, I think there's the different focuses for different types of events. Now, this is a great example of an event where networking is a really good addition, and so I think, we work with events of all shapes and sizes, but when you've got sort of hundreds of people rather than many thousands of people, you can often find that you get very good penetration of usage. So you may see 70-80% of people.
How come? Because I thought the bigger the better. Talking about networking and talking about mobile apps.
I think and certainly there's no problem with it being bigger. But when you get to a much bigger event, then it may well be, and it's often the case, that you'll find it's much more of an exhibition. So then the focus is much more about engaging exhibitors, making meetings with exhibitors, people finding their way around a large exhibition floor. So we do work with some of the largest sort of trade shows in the world, really, and then that's where the focus shifts to. It's a slightly different piece, but for the attendees, there's value in both things depending on what they're there to do.
And you say networking is an important part of it. There is an attendee list, but how do I get connected with another attendee? What if I think, wow, I want to talk to you, for example, and I find your name on the app? How do I connect with you?
Well, one of the things that you can you do is you don't see everybody's contact details because that's not really for the organizer to show, but it's okay for the organizer to show who's there, and then within the system you can send them a message, so they receive messages and exchange
so
messages.
it's a closed system, and you can.
So it's a private system.
All right, so I can send you a message, but I won't see your email.
Yeah.
The system makes sure that you get the private message. Wow.
Correct. So people have been doing that, and and they'll have been saying that we'll meet at the coffee break and things like that, and seeking each other out. Okay. And because you can see what people are interested in, you're able to search for people who have the same interests as you.
Okay. Last question. What do you think about the speech of Andrew Keane yesterday?
I actually found it. I don't mind that he was being quite controversial. I think that's fine. But I do think he didn't really do his homework about associations. I think he had an assumption that the associations are in no way looking forward, and I think that if he'd have looked a bit closer, he probably would have understood a bit more that associations are actually in many ways benefiting from the changes that he described. He kind of sort of painted a dystopian future, and I think actually that associations in many ways are the original social networks and stand to gain more than most organisations out of the technology that's available. So, he was controversial, but I felt a little unfair.
Okay, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And enjoy the rest of the day.
Great.
And thank you for being here in the studio. Bye bye.